was supposed to be giving you guys a video a day, and then this happened. Hey guys, my name is 115 Pandemic, and welcome to Titanfall. This is currently the best game I've ever motherfucking played. They guaranteed my pre-order within the first game, and I'll definitely be doing a lot more content of this when the game comes out. But I just want to show you this, because this game is just amazing. So anyway, the gameplay isn't going to be too great. I mean, well, the start is okay. The Titan gameplay isn't the best until I get my second Titan, but still, it's gameplay, so what can you expect? So yeah, I'm using the R101C with the HCOG and suppressor on it. Basically everyone's typical loadout, just because the R101C is the most OP motherfucking gun in the game. You get it, it's basically your first gun, and it's the only gun you'll ever want to use. Except for that sniper. The sniper's good. I'll give you some gameplay of that later. But anyway, let's get into it. So, Titanfall, what is it about? It is a multiplayer game that is, well, it's multiplayer only, which really is the kind of format that I think Call of Duty should have done a long time ago. But they've overdone this. That's all I can say. I don't mean that. I mean they've put so much work into this. It's crazy. It's hard to explain. Like, the amount of detail in this game is insane. So yeah. So you've got the pilots and you've got the Titans. That's the main gameplay. For the first 2 minutes of the gameplay, everyone is a pilot and they haven't unlocked their Titan yet. So you're basically killing enemy grunts, spectres, and players in a race to get your Titans first. And I think in this gameplay I'm the first one to get a Titan. I'm not too sure, but let's just say it is seriously a race to get the first one. But after everyone gets their Titans, the gameplay completely changes. And while I like the ground combat anyway, as soon as the Titans come along, the game changes completely, and for the better as well. So, basically, the first one I'm going to talk about the pilot gameplay. They couldn't have perfected this more, in my opinion. Now, what they've done is they've added free running to the pilots. They've added a lot more agility to ground combat than you'd expect. So, well, when I say ground combat, I mean pilot combat. The maps are especially large just because they have to facilitate for the Titans, and there's large open areas everywhere. So, the free running was a perfect idea to go with this. So you can run along walls, you can double jump, which is something that I seriously think shooters need more of, because it's just perfect, the double jumping. Like, seriously, the wall running. Anyway, so yeah, the wall running is great. It works perfectly, I'd say. It can be a little difficult at times, but the wall running is basically as good as it's ever going to get, in my opinion. And while at times, like the first couple of games, you'll sort of think, okay, it's kind of a little bit tricky, but it's just, in my opinion, perfect at this point. So yeah, combine that with the double jumping and it just makes the free running absolutely perfect. So the pilot gameplay mainly happens inside and on rooftops, and some people can go down to the streets. With caution, I'd say. Make sure you keep a lot of cover if you go down to the streets, and try and take on Titans head on as a pilot. Let's just say it's a bit more difficult, but after a couple of games you'll be used to it. It'll be pretty easy. I should talk about the bots next. There's two types of bots. There's grunts and there's spectres. Now, the grunts have a lower amount of health, and they're generic soldier infantry type bots. Now, from my experience, the grunts are pretty damn dumb, is all I can say. The pilots, sorry, not the pilots, the grunts are the most dumb things I've ever like found in a video game. Like you think the AI in say Black Ops for the combat training mode was pretty bad. You haven't seen the grunts, but I think they're purposely made like that. They're just cannon fodder, really, but that kind of adds to it. The second lot is the Spectres. Now these have anti-Titan weapons and can do considerable damage. People don't realise it, they just see them as more bots and they don't really know the difference, but you've really got to be careful of these bots because they are seriously dangerous, okay? They can take down, like, well, they could easily take down a Titan and nobody actually realises it. So you really want to be careful around those, but yeah. The Spectres, they also have a little bit more health, but one really cool thing you can do, considering they're actually, like, they're not soldiers, they're legitimate bots, so they're actual robots. You can catch them by surprise if they don't turn around. You stick this knife hacking thing in their back. It's really cool. It kind of combines a hacking device with a knife. You stick that in their head and it hacks them and it turns them to your side. It is one of the coolest things you can do. While kind of pointless, it is still awesome. If the Spectres had a little bit more power, if they're a little bit more intelligent, then yes, it would be so cool. Seriously, so cool. But yeah, so you can kind of tell the pilots between the Spectres and the Grunts, because the pilots, they're the only people who can wall run and jump about everywhere. Whereas the Grunts and the Spectres are kind of on the ground, trying to take everything out without getting on rooftops. So if you find someone on a rooftop, it's definitely a pilot, okay? There's no doubt about it. And it's going to be a little bit trickier to take them out. They sort of pilots have, I'd say, about the same, if not a teeny weeny bit less health than the Spectres. Which is a nice balancing thing, because the Spectres aren't too clever either, but they have, like, a bit more health, which kind of makes them a little bit more difficult to take out, which is really nice. Basically, with the bots in there and the 6v6, while people thought, oh no, this is going to be awful, why can't they do something like 12 versus 12, or something like that at least, like more Battlefield kind of combat, I don't think this game would have worked like that. It's not that kind of game at all. So basically, I think what the bots actually generally do is make you feel more overpowered. You see, with a game like Call of Duty, the first time you get in there, if you've never played a video game before, you're going to die a lot, and it can put a lot of people off. Now, with this game, you can just jump in, whether you've played an FPS before or not, you can get a couple of kills and still feel like the best fucking guy around. Even if you're at the bottom of the leaderboard, you're still going to get a ton of kills, and the experience is going to be great for you. This makes the game seriously super replayable, and unlike a game like Call of Duty, you're very less likely to rage with this game. That is one of my favourite parts about this game, is that it's super replayable just for the simple fact that it's so easy to kill things in this game. It's not so easy, there is still a bit of challenge through it. That's also the good thing. It's kind of challenging, but it makes you feel like a badass in the process, which is great. Like, just running from one side of the map, wall running, taking out a couple of Grunts and Spectres, even a couple of players on the way, calling a Titan, jump in, and start mowing down motherfuckers running on the road. That is the most fun experience you will ever have in a video game, if you like an FPS. Seriously, I've seen people who have despised FPS for so long, they sort of play it and they think, oh, this is so boring. And they seriously enjoyed this game. Seriously. Like, this is the perfect experience. Anyway, I've talked mostly about pilots, now I'm going to talk about Titans.